Hey, what's up with it, King? What's up with it, Queen? Y'all already know who it is. It's your big brother, Demont Pope, aka Mr. Purpose Over Pointless Excuses. You already know what's up. Every week we've been bringing you spectacular guests, and it doesn't stop yet. I got another very special guest for you today. I know you're excited. I know you want to know who it is and what we're going to be talking about. But first, you already know we're going to be talking about purpose. We're trying to uplift, upbuild. My job is to inspire, motivate, right? Educate and empower. That's what I do here. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, likes, do whatever you got to do to let the people know what's going on in this community, right? So without further delay or without any more prolonging the time, let me present to some and introduce to others my very special guest, Miss Lindolyn Green. How are you, Lindolyn? Welcome. Yeah.
Hey, how are you? I'm great.
I'm doing magnificent. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to stop by and kick it with your bruh over here as we speak purpose. All right.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you. Check it out. The first thing I want to know, right? First thing the listeners want to know, the first thing the viewers want to know, right? Is who is Lindolyn Green, right? And what exactly is it that you do?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindolyn Green. I'm from a small town, Barnesville, Georgia. I've lived here all my life. Went to high school here. I have an identical twin. Can you imagine? Her name is Gwendolyn. So we played basketball for the Lady Trojans here. Uh, Played in high school, played in college. So I was really a great basketball player. I really love basketball now. So went to college, went to the Fort Valley State University.
All right.
The Fort Valley State University was a Lady Wildcat. As a Lady Wildcat, we won some SIACs. We did pretty good in Fort Valley. From there, I went to Mercer University, finished there with my Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Came on with, I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but my career with correctional facilities. Then after that, I decided, I said, you know what? It's time for me to go back to school. I got my master's in clinical mental health. So I am a licensed professional counselor and therapist on the weekend. So those are some big jobs, being in correctional field and being a licensed professional counselor. One of the things I've told myself going into the correctional field when I first went in, I said, I'm only going to be here a year. But I stuck around. I stuck it out because I'm a part of corrections. I'm not in security, but I do a lot of program. Right now, I'm a program consultant. Okay. As I travel throughout after the state, just kind of overseeing counseling services. I do a lot of training for staff. We do a lot of training like in cognitive behavior therapy, do a lot of anger management. I am a certified anger management specialist also. So for the departments, I've kind of, I love my job. I love the job, but I decided, you know what? I want to be a therapist too. So I decided as I took on the weekend job, I'm at Warner Robins on on Fridays, and on Saturdays, I do telehealth. So I really love both. Those are very different professions. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm intrigued because you got a lot going on now. I usually have the energy going on over here, but you got a lot of energy going on too, like from athlete. Like now, let's go back all the way to the twin. You have an identical twin. Like that's fascinating to me because I don't know if some of you guys are new to my channel or new to my voice or new to me, period. But I also was a twin, right? My twin sister passed away quite some time ago, but I did have a twin sister. So anytime I get an opportunity to meet and communicate and talk to twins, for me, it's fascinating. So I just wanted to highlight that for the listeners. We got a twin in the building. Also, you talked about working in the corrections, right? Yes. You also talked about being a licensed therapist, right? Yes. You talked about anger management therapy, like, and there was a time in my life where I had to undergo some anger management therapy. I got a little bit of trouble. I didn't know how to control my anger and my emotions. So that's a real situation. We need people to know that it's okay, right? We need people to know that mental health is a real issue. So, and you are operating in that vein of mental health, like you are a mental health specialist. So what you do is help people basically get their mind right. Since we talking about purpose, I want the listeners to know, Lindolyn, that what you do and what you're talking about is helping people get their mind right. And you love what you do so much that you not only got your formal education, right, but you went and got further education, right, because you were so intrigued, so inspired, and you wanted to make impact and make a difference that much. So I applaud you for all of the things that you're doing. I'm talking about you working a regular job every day, then on the weekend, you still pursuing your purpose, two totally different career fields, and you merge the two together. Let me ask you this, right? How long have you been in your current career field, or have you just been balancing both the therapy, and the corrections at the same time, or have you been at the corrections longer? Like how long have you been in these two fields?
Well, in corrections, it'll be 21 years this year. I know I don't look like it, but it's definitely 21 years within corrections. Kind of went into that field as a like a counselor. Went in as a counselor, but wasn't a licensed therapy at that time. So I went in as a counselor. I worked inside facilities. So I did a lot of groups with our justice involved individuals. I did a lot of groups with them. I decided, I was there for about 10 years. I was still with the correctional, but I went in like community supervision. I went in like the probation side where they come in and do treatment. They came and do treatment. We do groups there, and then they'll leave for the day. So they wasn't staying overnight. So I really like that because with justice involved individuals, they come from all walks of life. You know, a lot of times people want to put them in one, big bundle and say these are our justice involved individuals, and they come from the same walks of life. But just working in that field prepared me to be a therapist.
Come on, talk about it.
So I was a therapist. I've been a therapist for like two years. I've been a therapist for 2 years. Wow. As a therapist, I see clients. I get in the office at 9 o'clock. I'm there until 8. I drive 1 hour drive home, so I'm probably here at 10. Get back at 10. On Saturdays, I do from 9 to 2. But I love therapy because sometimes I meet a lot of people, but I help people also. I'm happy. I have a passion for it because people coming in, they're trusting me with some of their issues. So I got definitely have to dig in and kind of I have to push because sometimes it's a long week. But definitely mental health is real. With the COVID, we saw a lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of teens. I have a lot of teens on my caseload. So it's just like it's like a mix of clients, and it is a challenge sometimes, but I do enjoy what I do.
So let me ask you this. You're talking about how passionate you are about what you're doing. And I'm so glad that you highlighted the fact that you have to be delicate when you're dealing with justice involved therapy and supervision. And you travel not just in one location, but you kind of oversee several locations in several different situations. So I can only imagine how much you've witnessed and how much you've seen. And you said you have a lot of teenagers in your caseloads. And we know, me personally, that's my sweet point. My niche is those teenage kids because they are truly going through massive life-changing experiences at young age. They're dealing with trauma in forms that we even didn't see until we were adults. So you are living, right? You are living proof, right? That when you operate in your purpose, right, you are able to help. Like I heard you say, you love being able to help. So your purpose allows you to help not just troubled individuals that may have gotten into some legal trouble as teenagers or adults, but you also help those that just need clinical help, like that need licensed therapists in psychology. Like, so let's talk about the motivation. Like, what is the motivation behind you choosing your current path, right?
Well, the motivation was when I went into corrections, I started to learn because I started doing the cognitive behavior therapy programs, and I started doing a lot of things. And I always been my passion because I was a bachelor's in psychology, so it's something I was always interested in. And so just going to the different conferences and learning different things, I decided, this is something that I want to do. I have a lot of people that kind of push me too. kind of push me. So I have that support system that's so important.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I definitely have that support system. And then I have that, like motivation, like I wasn't going to stop when I was at correctional. I wanted to go on a little bit further, wanted to see, individuals, because these individuals just involved, the individuals get out also. Okay. So getting out, I do have some people that I see that have been involved in the criminal justice system also. So definitely my motivation, I think my support system, just me, my internal motivation, intrinsic motivation, that really helps me. Just looking at some of the things I've dealt with in the past in my life was some of the things that really drove me to that direction.
Wow. So we talking about your passion, right? First of all, being passionate about it. And then we can very well tell, right, that you are very driven, self-motivated, right? So matter of fact, listeners, if you're getting value right now from Lindolyn Green, I need you to hit the subscribe, the notification bell. I need you to hit the thumbs up, type in the comments. Like, we need to let individuals know that we appreciate them. Like, in my opinion and in my eyes, like, you sound very much like a real live superhero, in my opinion, because what we haven't discussed is the fact of what you do. It actually saves lives. Like, these young people's lives are on the line when they're not just justice involved individuals, either when they're in the system and when they're transitioning out of the system. Like, we have these kids that are at mental breaking point. They're suicidal. Like, they're going through things. They're cutting themselves. They're trying to starve themselves. They're taking all type of different medications and they're self-medicating. And there's a lot of issues. So in my opinion, what you're doing is heroic, right? And it takes a lot of commitment. I'm talking about two opposite career fields merging the two. Like it looks like destiny and purpose in its purest form, Lindolyn. So I'm definitely applauding you for what you do. I salute you for what you do, and I appreciate what you do. So that passion is very evident in your work, because it takes a certain level of passion to pursue the level of education that you had to acquire to get the certifications, right? To put you in position, right, to be where you are. And you also talked about that support system, like having a team of people around you, right, pushing you to become better, not just accepting greatness, because you can be good, but pushing you to excel past your greatest level. So I want to highlight that for the listeners. Like, you have to have a support team of people who believe in you and who can see the things in you that you can't see. But above all, like, you can have all the support around you. But one thing I'm learning from you, Lindolyn, is you got to be self-motivated. You have to have an ambition that's God-given. That's something on the inside of you that's pushing you to go further than you've ever gone before. So I'm excited about what you got going on, Lindolyn. I'm excited about the impact that you're making. I'm so honored that you would count it not robbery to spend some time kicking it right here with your bruh as we speak purpose. Now, let me ask you this, right? What is one of the most difficult things about what you do? Because I know it's challenging, right? I already see the challenge with balancing the two, but when it's purpose involved, there's certain level of sacrifices involved as well, but it's well worth it in that level of fulfillment to attain that goal. So what is one of the most difficult things about what you do?
Well, when I go into the correctional facilities and I see individuals and they get out, they release, and then they go back in. That's one of my most challenges, because I look at it like this: what did we miss? Are we providing them with the right programming? Are we doing everything that we could?
Come on.
So that's some of the things that kind of stay with me, so I work even harder. So my team, we researching, we're trying to figure out what best for these individuals. But that's the most difficult thing, to see individuals, go back into the system and trying to figure out what led them back into the system. Another challenge that I have is just working in therapy. Therapy is difficult, it's challenging, because did I get through to everyone that day? I have individuals that say, individuals that have suicidal thoughts. Are they going to make it to the next session? So that's a lot of things. It's a heavy load. Sometimes you have to carry. it was definitely a heavy load. But with my faith and my support system, I've been making it, you know. I've seen some great things happen. So that was keep me going also. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Those are the
Now, I can only imagine. Now, I have a brief work history of working with individuals being assigned community service for misdemeanor crimes, and I've been tasked to work with correctional officers and inmates that were out doing work detail. And that's one of the things that would bother me when I worked. I think it was about maybe 3.5 years for the company that I worked for, and taking them out. Like, you would see, it was like a revolving door. The hurtful part is like when they would finish doing their community service time, and or you would see inmates that would get out, and then a little while later you would see them come back in, and you would see a lot of them for the same things. And it's definitely heartbreaking because, like you said, like these are genuine individuals. These are human beings, like whether they're transitioning in or transitioning out of the justice system, like these are someone's sons or daughters, or these are someone's family member, brother, sister. Like they are humans, and they're going through things. And it's really, really difficult from your standpoint, being in the position of having to facilitate, right, having to supervise, and being in that position to actually rehabilitate, and then seeing that some of it seems as if the efforts are not being done or executed properly, and you feel like it's a challenge because you can't win all of the battles. And it sounds like you sometimes feel it personally, because it's like sometimes you may feel like you dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's always something else that can be done. What could we have done? What should we have done? And I applaud you again, and I admire your tenacity and your endurance, because you didn't say that, well, this is just the way it is, and I'm just going to get up and continue doing my do every day, and I'm going to continue doing whatever I have to do, and the system is the system. No, you're telling me that you literally have meetings with your team, and you're doing research because you are literally trying to solve the problem. And that's what I applaud about you, because we have people in position that can literally make a difference, but they spend more time focusing on things that they cannot or will not control, and they do not take time focusing on things that they can control. So I applaud you for using that opportunity to really, really try to make a difference. And let me ask you this, right? I gotta keep the questions coming. And as you speak, I'm learning so much more about your particular field, industry, and what it's like actually walking and living a day in life in your shoes. So what is one of the things that people misunderstand most about you? Because I know when you tell somebody that you work in corrections, you know, specifically people of color, they probably look at you a certain kind of way, like, why are you working for the people? Why are you working for the justice system? Why do you work there? Like, you work with juveniles. Why do you do what you do? Oh, you do social work. Like, why do you do that? Social workers, they don't do what they say they're going to do. Like, a lot of misconceptions, right? So let's set the record straight. What is it that people, one thing that people misunderstand about you, Lindolyn?
Well, those are definitely some of the things that they misunderstand about my yeah, definitely. But I think a lot of times people misunderstand just myself, just being, you know, the person that I am. You know, people look back and say, you know, Lindolyn is a quiet person, but Lindolyn moves very quietly too. You know, so I really, you know, I move very quietly. I
Yeah.
got so many, you know, and people just don't know, you know, some of the things that I've endured, just doing the things that I do. I haven't talked about this, but I am the worthy matron of my Order of Eastern Star. So
Okay.
of
Okay.
Carsville. So that's, you know, that's another hat on my plate. Then I am also in the doctoral program for counseling supervision education. So it's like
Wow.
people, a lot of times people have so much misconception about who I really am as a person, as an individual. I do a lot not within the community, and also where I work at also. So I think that's the biggest thing. But I touched on what you said about corrections. A lot of times, even in my doctoral program, we was talking about corrections. And one of the things that they were talking about, you know, those individuals don't get anything. We're out there working hard to give them individuals to
Wow.
figure it out. What do those individuals need? My team, all of us are working hard. We're traveling out through the state. We're training hundreds and hundreds of people, and we're trying to figure it out. It's so many different. It's a different time. I know it's the things we have to do, but it's a different time than in the past.
Yeah.
And we're working hard. A lot of times people got that got that negative, look at corrections.
Mm-hmm.
But corrections, a lot of things, we do a lot of good things also.
Wow. And that's what the people need to know. They need to know about the good things. And just I can't take my hat off to you enough, because you got so many hats that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure probably sometimes you forget what you had to put on for the day. Like you wear so many roles. Like,
yeah,
and for me, it was difficult because, first of all, I've been on both sides of the fence. Like I've been an inmate, right? And then I've worked for the correction facility. I don't know how that happened, but only by the grace of God, I got an opportunity to see what it's like on pretty much both sides. Not as I've never been a correctional officer or nothing like that, but working for the correction department, and working with the community service workers, and knowing, like, it's just, for me, it was difficult for me, and it's like it was hard to see my people, other people, just human being people, sometimes in some of the conditions and some of the treatment. But it's very refreshing to see someone that's actually actively involved in change. And that's what we need, more active agents of change. So I applaud you. And this is what I want you to do. If you have any special programs or anything that some of the listeners may not know about, that they may need to know about, or if it's some information that they need to go look up, or even if you want to share your social media information, or if you got anything coming up, or any type of websites, whatever you want to share, this is your moment to share, to let the people know what they need to know, or how they can connect with you, if they can connect with you at all.
Yeah, well, one of the things is like Southern Bridge Counseling in Warner Robins. That's where my practice therapist, anybody that have someone want to do a referral, we do telehealth, so it doesn't matter how far away they are. But definitely, if you have anybody, anybody that is dealing with some of the difficult things, and mental health is a challenge for a lot of people. So definitely have them to reach out to me at Southern Bridge Counseling Services. Our website, I think you just type in Southern Bridge Counseling Services. I am planning some events soon. I don't have any events right now actually planning, but for the chapter of OES, Order of Eastern Star, we're going to have some events coming up for our youth. Definitely, I'll get that information out to you. But some of the things that we're planning, but those are some of the things that I'm doing. Doing. So I'm really going to really push to get some more information out into the community about mental health. So I really want to do that, get some things going about mental health. I'm working with some individuals, so hopefully that'll come down, soon.
Absolutely. That mental health is very, very key right now. Specifically moving into the summer season. I don't know if it got something to do with the temperature or what, but it's like when it's hot outside, it's like people just go through more mental, emotional stress and changes. And I don't know what it is, but it's definitely very important for us to bring awareness. So you guys make sure y'all plug in, lock in, do your research, find out what's going on, because sometimes your kids may be acting weird and they may be going through some things, and you may need to get a little bit more help. Sometimes they just ain't acting out because they bad kids. So let's pay a little more attention. So listen, Lindolyn, I thank you so much for taking time to kick it with your bro over here. I got one more question for you before I let you go. Like, what is one piece of advice that you would give, like, to that one person, or that young man, that young girl, whether they're looking into getting into the career field of your choice, whether it's social work, whether it's therapy, whether it's corrections, whether they want to be the person to facilitate the change from within the correction department? Or, like, what if they're that person like me that kind of did some bad things growing up and when they were younger, and they ended up on the wrong side of the law? Like, what would you say to that one to help them avoid ending up in that position? So 2-part question. Like, what would you say to the person that's looking to get into the field? And what would you say to that person that's making some mistakes to kind of help them avoid ending up behind those bars or in those predicaments?
I think the first thing, someone that's trying to look for a career, maybe in my career path, maybe somewhere, something else, is to know yourself. You definitely got to know yourself, know your values, know your morals, know yourself before you decide what career that you want. Also be open to feedback. I've seen it sometimes what stop our growth is not being open to feedback, but being open to feedback, and prepare yourself for the next role. prepare yourself for the next role. You got to prepare. If that's what you want, if this is what you want, if you want to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, and you're doing something else, prepare yourself for that next role.
Wow.
For that individual that kind of went off and went to the different side, or went to the criminal justice system, to stay out, find that support system, the resources that are out there for you. Also, find those resources, find that support system, keep pushing. I know it says hard, but know the things that I think a lot of times people come out, they don't kind of know what can they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of information with the Department of Labor, other places that you can know, but be able to, know what you could, do. Know the resources out there. Keep pushing forward, keep finding information, keep asking. So those are the things that I, leave with those.
Very, very, very wise words. I couldn't wrap it up any better myself. Listen, Lindolyn, thank you so much for taking time out, come kicking it. Thank you so much for being a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. Like, you brought so much value to this platform that I'm grateful. And whatever I can do to be of assistance to you on your platforms, I'm willing as well. Listen, y'all, I'm going to be back with you next week. You understand me? You already know it's your big bruh, Demont Pope, aka Mr. Purpose Over Pointless Excuses. Look, that's your big sis, Lindolyn Green. Yeah.